Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Leader Workshop with Infopreneur Agency. I'm your host, Omar Briones, and today we are talking about how to create a predictable, sustainable online profit with your own online course. And this is a very special webinar with our very special guest named Dr. Joe White. Dr. Joe White has invested the last 20 years of his life selling real estate courses and developing courses in infopreneur training programs, basically helping infopreneurs create their own online courses. And as I said, he spent the last 20 years doing that, learned a lot of stuff, has tried a lot of things and has failed but succeeded as well. And he's basically broken it all down into 4 simple steps, which he's going to share with you today on how to create a predictable, profitable online income with your course. Those of you who have who are speakers or infopreneurs, coaches, you have information that you want to share with the world, and your income, if your income is not really guaranteed, and it's really putting your income based on how many clients you get that month, and how much work you put in, you basically have a job. You don't have a business. And what Dr. Joe White is going to share with you today is going to really shift that whole business model into creating an actual business that pays you residually, whether you work or not, okay? Little things about Joe. Dr. Joe White, just so you know a little bit more about him, he has a doctorate in humane letters, which is normally what they give to presidents and keynote speakers when they speak at a university. And in addition to that, he's as a public speaker himself, he's a motivational and inspirational, empowering speaker who teaches peak performance strategies that has helped entrepreneurs create successful businesses in their lives. And he's also launched multiple companies into multi-million-dollar businesses that one of them I believe has sold or has franchised. And because of that, he's also become a North Carolina director for CEO Space International, which is what Forbes and Inc. magazine rank as the #1 business conference in the world. And today, he's the CEO of the DRJ Group, LLC. It's a consulting information marketing company focused on helping entrepreneurs like yourself and real estate investors and speakers build sustainable, profitable businesses. All right, so hopefully I gave a great introduction there. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Dr. Joe White now, and get ready to take lots of notes, you guys. Make sure you turn off your phones, get rid of all distractions. This is going to be a very powerful webinar that can really change your whole business, okay? So with that said, let's get started. Welcome, Dr. Joe White.
Hey, good evening, afternoon, everybody. Or good afternoon. I don't know what part of the country you're in. Geez, there's so much I do want to discuss and talk about. I love sharing information. I love helping people, especially entrepreneurs, infopreneurs. I've done this for a long time. I know Omar and I talked a lot about this title, Predictable Online Information Business Profits. And, part of my specialty is business. It's not just information marketing, it's entrepreneurship. So even though that's the title, we're going to cover a broad array of things that include the whole business and a little bit on touching on that will kind of help speakers too, because a lot of times my target audience or my niche audience are speakers who normally buy this type of product. What we'll cover today is on this webinar, we'll be covering like how to find your niche, creating products and courses, planning your position and your profit path, and marketing yourself and your product. So those are the 4 key things we're going to be covering today. So I kind of do want to give you a little bit about my background. So I pretty much was a single dad shortly after high school, and I wanted to figure out a way to make great income. Now, as I was telling Omar earlier, everyone else in my household, my mom, my dad, everyone went to college, got a 4-year bachelor degree. But because I had a daughter, I had to skip college, and I had to get, I had to find a way to make revenue and income. I took a real estate course that I saw on TV one night. I did that for about 4 years, did very well. I liked it because it gave me a way to have great income to provide for my daughter. And then later on, I started to have other kids. So what I ended up doing, I had a lot of friends that would come to me and say, hey, you know what? I want to learn real estate investing. So I started a course, and I would teach that course in my basement every Monday night. And it started off with me teaching 2 friends. Then they told some people, and they told some people, and they told some people, till it got to the point where I had 100 people in my basement every single Monday night coming to hear me teach about real estate investing. And, you know, I still got to get to the point where I say, okay, this is just too much. You know, people are parking on the grass. My neighbors are complaining. I've got to find a way to put what I'm teaching into a different format. So I created my first course. And back then we didn't have the online courses or the membership sites and things like that. So, you know, I had to do the CDs and the DVDs, and I had to print them myself and get a CD copier and all of those things so that I could have, you know, just ship it to people, or they had to buy it when I had speaking engagements. And that led to me kind of speaking around the country, United States and Canada. I've taught probably more than 1,000 people. I've taught celebrities. I've taught actors. I've taught a lot of people real estate investing, although my niche was wholesaling and just basic flips. I would teach on different areas, and I would coach a lot of students as well. Later on, over the last few years, after I got out of real estate investing, I built a multi-million-dollar mental health business with my mom and sister. After we sold that particular company, I went to work for CEO Space International, which is the #1 business conference in the world. So if you can probably think of some of the people who went there, it's like Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Robert Kiyosaki created Rich Dad Poor Dad there. The movie The Secret was created there. So the environment was incredible, but I went there not so much to make money, but I went there to learn because I'd sold my company. I was getting a stipend every single month. So I think there's a point in life when we focus on service, and there's a point in life when we focus on sales. This was a point in life I felt like I needed to focus on service, be humble, and learn. Because I got a chance to be around some of the giants in the industry and really learn the information marketing business. Although I'd had a course and I had, you know, done a lot of speaking to be around a Les Brown, to be around a Bernie Dorman, to be around a Lisa Nichols, to be around Sharon Lecter. I mean, it's just a humbling experience, and I just soaked up everything like a sponge, and I spent my 3 years there. Also, part of the term while I was there, I was also on the board of a venture capital company. So I got a chance to vote on the board for the projects like movies and work with celebrities. One of the projects that I worked on closely was a project called Give with Blair Underwood. It's a TV show that's still on NBC. We won 2 daytime Emmys. But I mean, I did so much stuff. And then when it got close to January, normally I reevaluate everything. I don't know about you, but I reevaluate everything around November because that's my birthday. My birthday is November 2nd. I'm Scorpio. I reevaluate everything. And I said, you know what? Now's the time for me to leave the venture capital company, to leave CEO Space, and focus on my own brand and start to teach and start to share my message again. So I kind of went back in and I started teaching the real estate investing course. And then I wanted to switch to doing more international. And I had a time where I did a little bit of self-help. I did this book with Bob Proctor. If anybody, it's called Concrete Jungle. If anybody knows who Bob Proctor is, one of the stars of Secret. I wanted to do more international work, and real estate didn't transfer to international. So I couldn't book, or I couldn't go to, I booked in Sweden this year. I'm booked in Africa. I couldn't teach real estate investing because the laws are different. You know, some things are different. So that's what made me think, okay, what else could I teach that I already know? And that's what came up with this, you know, how to create these courses and how to, you know, do online business and make it a sustainable business, because I really had been teaching the same real estate course for like 18 years. And when I looked at it, I was like, you know, I've taught all these hundreds of people. This has been a great business. Me, over 18 years, I've made a lot of money doing this. Why don't I take and put these things into a system and share and teach others? So that's kind of pretty much what I've been doing this whole year, is taking and teaching speakers, authors, coaches, how to build a sustainable business that will last for years. Now, I think that one of the most important reasons of why we do things is it has to be something strong, because that's what makes us feel like, you know what, I'm doing all of this for a reason. Because anytime you're building a business, a lot of time it's a lot of time in the beginning, and then it kind of slows down as time goes on, and you're still making money. And of course, my why, like everybody else, with my kids. Like I told you, I had a daughter at a young age, but then I had a son, I had another daughter, I have another son. And I always talk to people about wealth. And to me, wealth isn't money alone. Wealth is a combination, it's a recipe. It's a recipe of money, freedom, and health. So I wanted to make sure I could spend time with my kids while they were young. because, you know, of course, when they get in their 20s, they don't have much time for you anymore. But also why I was healthy and had energy. And I wanted enough money that we could do some things we wanted to do. So, you know, I was able to do things like we went to Disneyland every single year for about 10 years. You know, we would stay a week. And if I'd had a regular job, I couldn't have done that. Or, you know, we would go all kinds of places. And I'm happy to say now my kids are all over 21. One is a lawyer. She just passed the bar. Another one owns his own club and his own business, restaurant. Another one is traveling the world as a teacher. And the other one is just traveling the world. And, you know, I feel like because I was able to build a business like this and think a little bit differently outside the box, I had quality time with my kids that made them quality people. I had good money, but I wasn't super wealthy. You know, a lot of times you see people who are really wealthy, they say, you know, if I could do something over again, I would go back and spend more time with my family. And I never, ever wanted to have that regret. So that's the reason why I do the stuff that I do the way that I do it. And I'm a very strategic thinker that thinks outside the box. So hopefully, you know, some of the philosophies and things I'm going to share and I'm going to teach you guys, it'll be monumental, will help you. But I always tell people it's like a buffet. Take what you want, leave what you don't want. So this is a picture of the first course I created. Again, you know, you had to have the notebook. You had to have the CD, the DVDs, the computer programs, things like that. And I sold this course. Geez, I've been selling this course for like 15, 16 years. Now, I've upgraded the course, but it's still the same 10 steps. It's still the same framework. And that's what I normally teach people. It's about creating a framework that will last the test of time. Sometimes you're going to be doing updates, but it's pretty much the same material. And basically what I later did is I took this information and I put it online. Now, I was kind of early online because I worked in that area. I'm always been getting one that comes up with ideas. So I had an online company with the guys from Fubu, Damon, if you see him on Shark Tank, Dominique Wilkins. We had a company called My Celebrity E-Card where we would film celebrities. We would do celebrity greeting cards, say like a Beyonce saying happy birthday. And we wanted to put that out to the public where they could buy those celebrity greeting cards and then, you know, online, and then send them to people through email. But the internet market kind of crashed. We had gotten funding. And so that kind of left me to saying, hey, you know, I kind of understand this internet market. Why don't I just move my real estate course business to that? Because I've always kept that business going no matter whatever business I had going. So that's what kind of made me move to being online. The first step that I realized that when you start working online though, was you had to have a niche, understand your niche. I knew that real estate investing was my niche, but with niches, sometimes you also have to drill down. And what I mean by that is, even though real estate itself is a niche of real estate investing, I drilled down to wholesaling or flipping, which is basically where you find properties that are undervalued, maybe because they're vacant and they need repairs or they're behind on taxes. And then you're going to put those on a contract, you're going to sell to somebody else. But there's so many other niches in the real estate market. There's, you know, tax foreclosure, there's fixing up houses and selling them. So you want to drill down on your niche so you understand who's your audience and who you're selling to. Who's the individuals that you're looking for. And you do that by your research. You know, I find that a lot of people, if they're already working in a certain market, fail to do market research because they think they understand their customer base. And just one thing I'll tell you is you don't. The customer base is going to always be changing. You should be doing market research every single year. That market research is going to tell you things that you never even thought about asking. It's going to be telling you, you know, what's your age range of the client that you're trying to serve? How much money do they make? How many kids do they have? Where are they? How to reach them? Things like that. So market research is super, super important. And what's the language that they're using for what they're looking for? Because sometimes the language that we use isn't the same language that our clients or our customers use. So that market research is going to tell you so much about your client that you never even thought about in that niche. And, you know, one of the things that's important too, we've gone to what I call a micro niche society. And what I mean by that is I'm 46 years old. And when I was growing up, we had 3 to 5 TV stations. I don't know if you guys remember that. We had NBC, ABC, CBS. And you pretty much had to watch what was on those stations, and that was it. Now, if I have cable, or I used to have cable, you know, you got 1,000 channels and you don't know what to watch and you feel like nothing's on, but you have those channels are now niched down, whether it's BET, whether it's We Channel, whether it's The home shopping channel was HGTV. They have niches. They're targeting specifically the people who want what they offer. You have the Food Network. So now, because we have so many choices, you have to dig a little deeper into the niche, so that you make sure you're bringing out the audience that that wants to buy your product, or that's searching for your product or what you have to offer. The other thing that you want to think about when you're choosing your niche is your skills. A lot of people already have skills that are actually can make you money, but we don't think about it, that other people want to learn about. One of the things I think that we suffer for, I know I've suffered from it as a coach or a speaker, is sometimes we think we don't know enough to teach others. I think we think, well, who's going to want to know what we know, or who's going to want to learn these skills that we already have? But there's so many people who haven't come as far as you have that will be happy to learn those skills, will be happy to know what you know, and will take that and go to the next level with it. So don't make the mistake of thinking that you don't have enough skills or you don't know enough to actually start teaching people within your niche. And then sometimes don't take for granted the skills you have. I have a lady that's in my class, and she's a gardener, and she would make these wooden pallets, and she would put dirt in them and then be able to put these on her back porch and then grow vegetables and fresh organic vegetables. And I tell her that's a skill that you can sell and you can teach online. You can show people how to take pallets and what dirt to use and what seeds to plant and what grows best and what time of the year, because you know all these things, but because you know them and they're second nature to you, you're not realizing how valuable they are. And now she's doing it, and now she's starting to see how valuable those are to other people. The other thing that you want to make sure that you think about when you're choosing your niche is your passion. Again, going back to, I don't want to feel like work is work all the time. I mean, of course, nothing's going to be easy all the time, or everybody would do it. But I don't want to feel like that I'm working. I want to feel like, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I love sharing information. So when we're doing this is not work to me. This is something I would do all day long for 10 to 12 hours for free. Just sit and talk about business and sharing, because I love these type of conversations. The great thing is I loved about being in CEO spaces, I would get to be in business conversations, some of the most amazing business conversations that would just blow your mind. And that was just like a vacation to me. So, also think about, what's my passion? Take your skills, take your passions, find where they cross, and that's your niche to me. And you can have more than one niche. I think you just don't want to promote more than one niche at one time. I think that sometimes people say, well, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But you don't tell everybody all that at one time, because that creates what I call brand confusion. And when people are confused, they don't buy, or they don't actually get engaged when they're confused. So those are some things you want to think about when you choose your niche. And then, of course, again, going back to that research of understanding your audience. What are they suffering from? Where are they hurting? People don't want to flip houses. People want money. That's what I had to understand about my audience. And what questions are they asking? How do I make full-time money working part-time? How do I have more free time for my family? These are the questions my audience are asking, and that's what I was asking. How do I, with just a high school education and no college, make enough money to support my family where we can have a good lifestyle? And you need to understand what's going on inside your audience's mind, inside their brain, what questions they're asking, what problems are they having, and that's what you're creating a product for in your niche, to solve the problems that your audience can't solve for themselves. And if you realize that, you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to do very well. Because a lot of times the research you're doing, those questions are going to be the pieces that you put into any course or product, because it's solving problems. So hopefully that does it. Some quick tools just you guys can use for market research. You may want to take these down. Is Google Keyword Planner. It's pretty good as far as finding out what people are using as a search phrase when they're searching for items within your niche. Word Tracker. SpyFu is a pretty good tool. It has like a free version where you can kind of get a light dig in, and then of course you have the paid version where it goes a little bit deeper. In BuzzSumo, you can find articles, you can get the answers to questions. But these are all research tools. You can find out what's the customers are asking, what are they saying, what are they actually looking for. So these are some research tools, and of course you can find plenty more.
I would just like to add one more thing before. If you don't mind. I think this is a really gold nugget. As far as tools, one thing that I've found is really helpful to find out what people are looking for is if you just look at magazines, you can see like any magazine, if there's a magazine made from that topic, then most likely it's a profitable topic. And the same thing goes for dummies, those dummies books, the series. If you look at those and even look at the chapters, you'll even get to see not only is the book telling you that it's a money-making topic, but when you look at the chapters, you'll see what are the specific, challenging points that people are having that you can actually create a course on yourself. If that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I go to magazines.com all the time, and I'll find the magazine for the industry that I'm researching for a client, but I'll also look at their sales page where they're selling ads, and it gives you a breakdown of the audience, the audience demographic. So yeah, great point. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, right on.
So I think that with a speaking business, online business, you got to have multiple income streams. I don't know about your life, but in my life, what seems to happen is books are selling 1 minute, because I'm out and about and I'm selling quite a few books, and then something else is selling and something else is selling. Versus if you kind of depend on one product sometimes, I think sometimes you have the down periods in that product. Very few businesses, unless they're contracted, are just like smooth, like a flat across, going like that. It's normally kind of like this. And so what you want to be doing is building multiple income streams so that if one is going here, you got another one going here, and your income doesn't do that. And I think that's what hurts a lot of people in business is they don't have those multiple streams of income. So in the product world or the speaker world, I want to talk about the different streams of income. Stream one, of course, we know is books. And what happens, I think, in today's world, a book makes you an authority. It means that people look to you for the answers in a certain subject. But a lot of people write a book and don't realize a book is not a major income source. It's really more of a way, again, like making you authority or people recognizing you as expert. Now, you do make money from books, but you're not going to make a living normally from books unless you're a large author, that you're selling to millions of people. And so normally if I'm selling books, I'm selling when I go out to speak, and then occasionally maybe somebody will hear me on a webinar like this and they'll buy a few books. And my books may make me $100, sometimes $200 a month. It just depends if I'm out speaking, maybe a little bit more, but books are one income stream. Ebooks can be another income stream if you can put in that book category. And I see some people who have specialized books. Like I was talking to a client last night who owns a pharmacy delivery business. And I was telling her, she can create an ebook and probably charge $97 for it on how to build and start your own pharmacy delivery business. So that's a little bit different. But books are one income stream. Another income stream, and this is the one that I kind of like the best, and we're going to talk about in depth on our next slide, is courses. I think in today's marketplace, we're moving to more online education. And this is something that I preach to people all about, that over the next 10 years, we're going to experience a massive amount of change. Because I think we're in what I call the rise of AI, artificial intelligence. I'm going to McDonald's now, and there's a screen where you can actually pick what you order, and they don't need a cashier anymore. I know Uber's trying to develop self-driving cars. I know that college right now costs so much. I know everybody who I know has student loans. I'm probably the only person that doesn't have student loans because I didn't go to college. But they're paying off student loans like they're paying off a mortgage. And so I think people are going to be turning more to online learning, e-learning. And I think that's why courses are important, because they allow you to connect with a person visually through audio and get paper documents. So I think courses are a huge marketplace right now. And you're seeing
sorry. I just want to say one more thing. You mentioned, these new innovations like AI. Another thing, if you notice this, have you seen this yet? But there's a augmented reality apps coming out where they're even letting you be in a classroom next to people and seeing someone teach on stage, just like you're there in person. It's crazy. So a lot of cool stuff going on. Anyway.
Wow. See, I haven't seen that. But again, the world is changing. And I think with us understanding the skills that we have, when I want to know something sometimes, I go to YouTube now. I was thinking, I can change my own, or I go to YouTube and they got a video for it. Now, don't think because there's YouTube that people don't need what you have, because YouTube does not curate content. They have a large amount of content, but if you notice when you go to YouTube, you got to look at sometimes 20 different videos and spend time searching in order to find what it is you're looking for, versus somebody giving you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all in one place. So there's a huge need for what you have to offer. And there's a lot of platforms on the rise, Udemy, Thinkiv, all of those type places that you can place your courses on. And courses can range, I'm going to give you the price range, but courses have a good amount of spread in them, and you create them one time and they can kind of last almost forever, like kind of like a song or a movie. You can keep selling the same courses for years. Coaching is another product. I love coaching. I think that to me, that's where I seem to shine, because I love connecting with people, spending time, talking. And, the thing about coaching is no matter how good you are, and I've had close-up relationships with everybody you can think of in the speaking industry to somebody, and spent time with them. My mentor is Tony Robbins, one of Tony Robbins' mentors. Nobody can coach themselves. And you may say that's weird. I always tell people you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. My emotions are going to tie up sometimes the decisions I make in my own business, so I can't see them as clearly as somebody on the outside who can. So I think everybody needs a coach, and everybody should be a coach. If you're teaching a product or have a course or a book, I think a coaching is a great thing to have. Memberships, you having a group of people who pay on a monthly basis, who are going to be getting information or getting some type of service or leads or whatever it is on a regular basis from you. And that's a great way of having residual income. Speaking is a product because you can get a keynote fee, but speaking is also marketing, depending on what type of speaker you are. And then affiliates and JVs. One of the biggest mistakes I made, and I'll give you an example, one of my favorite apps to this day is Audible. And of course, it's where you can listen to audiobooks. And I love the app so much, I would talk to everybody about it. So I know I've got well over 100 people who have actually invested in Audible because I like it so much and I told them about it. I've been a member of Audible since they started, like 2009. So if I had made $1 off of every book they bought, and they each bought 100 books over the last 10 years, and I've referred 100 people, I basically missed out on $10,000. So what I'm saying here is, a part of the way you diversify your income is there's something that you like and you love, and that you're using it, and you know that your customers, clients, or your audience will love, then you should have an affiliate link so that you get paid for referring it. Because you're going to refer it anyway, why not have an affiliate link? Because a lot of times those small amounts of money, you'd be surprised how they add up. But can you imagine now that you have money coming in from books, money coming from courses, money coming from coaching, membership sites, speaking, affiliates, JVs, how that really starts to build a sustainable business, and it doesn't go like this anymore. It kind of starts to go kind of like, I guess like this, kind of like an airplane.
And the other beauty of having affiliate programs is you don't have to create the product yourself.
Yes,
it's already there, and usually they offer some really great valuable things you can give away for free, like a free webinar or whatever else, and sell the product for you. So you're really just referring people, and you don't have to create it yourself. So anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Great point, man. Right, man. It's like Batman and Robin.
Right on, man.
So here, this is really where you want to take notes. I want to give you guys some really in-depth information here. Designing and deliver your courses or products. So 10 by 10 by 10 is a system I created for my students. And what I always tell them when they're creating a course or book or anything, that you have 10 steps or less. Now you say, why do I have to have 10 or less? Can I have 15 or 20? I think, again, we're in what we used to be in a blockbuster economy. Now we're in a Netflix economy. People want a lot. They want choices. They want it in short time frames. So anytime you start to get above 10, I think you overwhelm sets in. So you want to keep it 10 steps or below. So you have 10 main steps. And in each of those 10 steps, you have 10 points or less. And so I'm using 10 as the standard, but you can do less. So my real estate course, I have 10 steps to flipping houses. And under each of those steps, I may have 5, I may have 6, I may have 4 points. So say, for instance, if I talk about how to find houses as one of the main points, I'll talk about driving for dollars, which is driving around, finding vacant houses, taking pictures, get the address, contact the owner. Or I'll talk about probate, when someone dies and they leave the house to the family. I'll talk about tax liens or people being behind on taxes. That's a sign that they can't keep up the maintenance on the house or can't pay for everything. So I may go through 5 different ways to find houses, and that's under that step, but there's 10 main steps. Now, when I record a video, it's always less than 10 minutes. Now, I originally didn't start off doing this, but I started realizing what people normally do when they come into a course, they want to come in for maybe 10, 20 minutes. They want to get through a lesson and then leave back out. And I found out when I was looking at my analytics that more people got through the lessons when I did them at 10 minutes or less. So I started teaching my students 10 times 10 by 10. 10 steps or less, 10 points for that lesson or less, 10 minutes or less if you're recording a video. And now each of those lessons should be able to stand on its own like it's its own course. So if I'm going back again to finding properties, and one of the points that I'm talking about is driving for dollars, that lesson should be able to stand on its own as a course. So if I pull that lesson out, I can give that away, driving for dollars, for free. I can create a book on driving for dollars. I can have it as a mini course and charge less money. The reason why I like it standing for free is what I call the Lego effect. The Lego effect allows me to create my products in pieces that I can put in different places. So maybe if I'm doing another real estate course, I can take and make one of those pieces a bonus. I can give it away free. I mean, it just allows me to put it in different courses. It just allows me to be very versatile in my courses. Because sometimes the same thing you teach in one course, you're going to teach in the next course. Like, say, for instance, to me, something that I teach in almost every course is going to be business basics or mindset, you know, and those pieces can be pulled out of one course and put into another. Now, I'm going to kind of cover the plan and the market at the same time on this one, on your product path. I think that in what's happening in the marketplace online is the first thing you're doing is giving somebody something for free. And I call that making them aware. So they see a free book from you online. Now they're aware you exist. They know you have some good information. And then they start getting emails from you. And then I call that person a fan. Somebody who gets information from you on a regular basis, they look forward to it. There's people who we watch on YouTube, people who we get emails from, and we look forward to getting those. I call that person a fan because they follow you. They're kind of a fan. Now, once they buy from me, when they buy my product, I say they're a member of my tribe. Now you're in my tribe. I'm coaching you. You're taking my information. You know, you're kind of a disciple of what I'm teaching. And then through customer service and through providing good content, I'm going to transform that person to what I call the evangelist. The evangelist is somebody who will sell your product for you without getting paid. And I will tell you that probably having a lot of evangelists has made me a little lazy, because a lot of times there's people who've been in my programs that I overgive to so much that they become evangelists, and most of my sales are driven by evangelists, especially on my real estate products. I do very little marketing, and I normally get between 10 to 25 people every single month in that product. And that's because I have a lot of evangelists. When people make large checks on, say, a real estate deal, they tell friends, they tell family, and then friends and family say, hey, I want to do this too. So that's kind of covering the product path and the market at one time. They become aware, they become a fan, they become part of the tribe, then they become evangelists. Now,
Dr. Joe White, I just want to ask, that's very interesting. You know, people promoting you without, you know, getting a commission. Mm-hmm. And, you know, usually that's kind of like the way the standard is getting an affiliate commission, right? Mm-hmm. But as an evangelist, it's different because they're passionate about it and they want to share it, right? Voluntarily. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, can you give any little clue or tip of like how you turn a tribe member into an evangelist?
Yes. So what you do is, one of the great ways is through surprises. When you give somebody something they didn't expect to get from you that's not in your marketing or advertising, they're overwhelmed like, wow. So if you tell them they're going to get these 10 steps, you're going to get this bonus, you're going to get this bonus. They buy your product and they get middle ways to your product, and then you send them something extra that they didn't expect, or they realize there's another bonus in there that you didn't mention. They're like, wow, you know, I knew I was getting this, but I didn't know this was coming with it. Or let's say, for instance, they buy your product and then you get their address and all of a sudden they get a t-shirt in the mail with your logo or your branding on it and a bracelet. Or let's say, for instance, that they only know you through online and you make a phone call and you give them 2 free coaching sessions. I mean, things that people don't expect make them, just like getting a surprise party. A party is great, but you know it's coming. But if somebody gives you a surprise party, it's like, wow, you're just overwhelmed. I mean, you can't control your emotions. You didn't expect that to happen.
Awesome. So you're saying just by giving them an unexpected bonus, that's been your strategy for turning your tribe into evangelists?
Yeah, over delivering is basically, if I had to put it in one phrase, it'd be over delivering.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right. Cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh no problem. And then one of the other things too in delivering is thinking about your positioning. In positioning, I always talk about there's 3 different levels. There's the low end, the middle end, and the high end. So let me give you an example. To me, if I was thinking about cars, I may think that a Kia is a low end car, and that doesn't mean it's a bad car. It's a low end car. My middle end car may be a Honda or Acura. And then your high end car is a Mercedes or a Bentley and things like that. And what happens is people perceive based on your positioning, your price or your value. And there's nothing wrong. Like I said, there's a lot of Kia sold and Kia makes a lot of money. So there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be in that particular area. At the same time, you can have an old Mercedes and people still think that you're a wealthy person. Even though you're driving a Mercedes that's old and costs less than a Kia costs, they perceive that as value. That's just how they view it because they view things in the position that we're talking about. So you want to think about, as you start to develop your course and your products, where do you want to be represented at? Now, I've chosen to be in the middle, but I have a lot of friends that are on the high end and they make really good money. They do less customers where I may do 10, they may do 1, but their 1 is just as much as my 10. So I think that's something you want to give a lot of thought to, when you're putting together your prices, when you put together your product, and going back to that audience and understanding who you're going to serve. And then selling. A couple different ways of selling your products as you're delivering is, of course, a video sales letter, a webinar, a webinar, speeches, and coaching. I think that sometimes, like on a webinar like this, you may decide to do a free coaching, or you go out somewhere and you speak and you give away a free coaching session. A lot of times that's your chance to do a one-on-one sale. Or if you're doing a speaking engagement, you've been to those events where people speak, they teach, and then they send you to the back of the room to buy products. Webinars, of course, we're going to teach. And then, of course, a lot of times you have a product for sale at the end. And then, of course, a video sales letter is normally what you put on your website that people go to and they see what you're selling and what the bonuses are and what you're giving away. But all of this is in your design and your delivery. Your Lego, your product path, the market, making people aware, the fan, the tribe, the evangelist, understand your positioning, and then how you're going to sell and where you're going to sell at. Let's talk about the profit plan. So courses, and I did this based on the low, medium, high end. A lot of times on the low end, courses go between $47 and $197. I will tell you that people pay more for courses that make them money than they do for self-help or anything else. But there is still a demand for beauty, for self-help, for self-improvement, and stuff like that. So a lot of times, if you're doing that, you're going to maybe selling more, but you may not be getting as much per course. So low end is $47 to $197. Mid-tier, I would say, is $297 to $995. And then the high end would be $1,000 up if you're selling courses. And I know people who have courses that are $10,000, but on average, I see them going between $1,000 and maybe $3,000 to $4,000 on the high end. Membership sites range between $995 and $39.95. And membership sites can be a newsletter, it could be leads, it could be a weekly video. If you'll say, for instance, if you were doing training, maybe it could be a weekly menu. So every single week they get a menu. I have a trainer that does that, and I'm going to talk about some of the people that are in my classes and how their product plan works. The middle level will be $49 to $99.95. For me, I have a real estate coaching business, and I charge $97 a month. And basically, every other week I have a group coaching on Zoom where everybody comes in and they can ask questions. They pay $97 a month for that, and it allows me to review their deals and give them information. High-end coaching could be $100 and up. And, again, it's just where you want to position yourself. Coaching can be $15 an hour to $49 an hour on the low end. The middle tier is $50 an hour to $100 an hour. Then I would call the high tier 100 and up. And then speaking, you may be between 250 and 1,000, 1,000 and 3,000 for the mid tier, and then 3,000 and up, depending on what type of speaker you are. I don't know if go ahead.
I just had a question. You can finish off with what you were going to say if there was something.
No, no.
Did I interrupt? Okay. I'm just curious. Do you recommend having someone have multiple options for each one, or just one for each, or maybe one or two or something?
Well, with courses, you can have, if you're having multiple options, you can have multiple options on how they pay, either a one payment or multiple payments. On memberships, you pretty much got to have just one. I couldn't see how you could have, unless you have in degrees, like a silver, gold, platinum, then you can have multiple ones. And that would determine and be based on access, which is something I was just about to talk about too.
Okay.
I think in courses and in products, a lot of times you have the three main levels that I talk about is do it yourself, where a person buys an online product, they watch the videos on their own and do everything on their own at their own pace. You have the done with a group, where you pretty much may get the course, but then you're in group coaching maybe once a week, once a month, bi-weekly, where you work with maybe 10, 20 other people who are doing the same thing, and the instructor is there. And then you have do it one-on-one, which is basically where you have a one-on-one relationship with that person, and maybe you're meeting 30 minutes a week, coaching them step by step.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Go ahead.
the main reason I'm asking is I'm just kind of thinking, it might be a little confusing if we give your customers too many different options of prices, price points. So I'm just not sure what your thoughts are on that. And because I have all these ideas for different products and courses and different membership levels, different coaching levels. So I don't know if I should offer all of them, or just keep it simple, just one for each, whatever what do you think?
Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about that. So I have a fitness trainer that works with me, and she has a membership site, and she's $19.99. And normally she gives maybe one exercise a week, but she also gives a meal plan. Now, you can, if her main product base is a membership site, she can do like a silver, gold, platinum, where maybe they get a exercise training for the week, and then maybe the next level they get an exercise training and they get meal planning, and then maybe there's a platinum level where they get the meal plan, the exercise training, and then a one-on-one 30-minute coaching session. And she may base that upon price, and different prices along the way. So in that way, I think it would make sense. But I think that you can't market everything at once either. I think that's when confusion comes. Sometimes we market as an upsell opposed to marketing all at once. Say, hey, you can choose between all of these. Sometimes you let them get the silver and you say, hey, well, if you want more, you should get this. And then they get that and you say, hey, if you want more, you should get this. So it just depends on how it's marketed.
Gotcha. Right on. Thanks.
No problem. Her coaching, she charges $25 an hour for coaching. And that's e-coaching. So she does it from home. And she has an online course for $97. And that's pretty much her product plan on how she works. Now, we're also doing things with her now, like T-shirts, apparel. We're doing supplements. So we're kind of building out a whole product funnel for her, so that now that she has the people, maybe they're coming in at a lower rate, but she has more products to keep them going down the product path, if that makes sense. So I have another lady who is what I call a wealth coach. She teaches people about trading, Forex, credit repair, business credit. She has a membership site. She gives a new video lesson every single week. It's $97 a month. She primarily likes building a list, and she has someone else who creates the courses, and she does JVs with those people and sells their products. And then she does speaking engagements where she charges like $1,000 to $2,000. So that's her product path. And I like working in threes. Doesn't mean that we have to stop there, but I always work in threes because I think after three things become overwhelming. So I always get my people to start off working. Let's work on three things, complete those, and then we can add to it. Now, I put copywriter, but it's actually a ghostwriter. So I have a ghostwriter that's a client, and she does a group coaching where she takes 10 to 20 people through, and they create their first book. And she charges $19.97, and it's a 90-day program where they create their first book. And she gets on Zoom with them once a week, and they write a book, and she gives assignments, and that's how she does the price. And I think she has multiple payments. You can kind of do it yourself, the course for $49.97. Or she would ghostwrite with you one-on-one, where she does phone interviews and takes the phone interviews, transcribes them, and then ghostwrites the book, and that's $49.97. That's kind of her product path. my product path as a real estate coach, my real estate program is $397. People in my group coaching pay $97 for the monthly, and they get coaching normally bi-weekly, which is a whole group. And then I have a one-on-one coaching program where I coach them through their first deal, sometimes their first 2 deals, and it's $197. That's kind of a one-on-one. So go ahead. Oh, I thought you said something. So what I'm saying here is everybody has a specific product path that they follow in order to make their business work. And you can put all of the different elements that we first talked about in that product path in different ways. It's just a matter of finding out what fits for you based on what level you want to be perceived at. I don't know if that all makes sense. Am I confusing anybody?
It totally makes sense to me, at least. I do have something I did want to ask or just say is you mentioned, what's that? What do you call it? Merchandise, like T-shirts, etc. That actually really gave me some really good ideas because I want to point out first off that when people get things in the mail or they have something in their hands that they can hold, it adds so much more value to whatever you're selling. And it also reminds them of you as the person, the brand. Oh, they just gave me this awesome shirt or this newsletter, this in-person, this book or whatever it is. And it reminds them that of your brand. Because a lot of times, if you have a membership site or something, or you sold a course, a lot of times people don't really use that information. They don't even, use the membership or use the products, but if you send in things in the mail, you kind of remind them, hey, this is, I'm part of this membership and, they gave me this cool shirt or they gave me this, thing. So anyway, I just thought of that. I just wanted to share that. And, the other thing is, so I do have a question, by the way. When do you think is a good time to start introducing that type of stuff, like merchandise?
I think that once you have about 100 evangelists, I think you want to do that. But you could probably even introduce it at 50. I think that when people really like what you do and they like the brand, they want to be part of it. If you think about it, when you look at people who never played a day of football in their life, I'll sit there and talk about, yeah, man, we're going to win the Super Bowl. They consider themselves part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They consider themselves part of the Eagles. They consider themselves part of Cleveland. They get like they're part of the team, and they want to wear that apparel so they feel like they're part of the team. And so when the game time comes, you see people with Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys on, talking about we're going to win tonight. Because they've embraced the brand. So when you get to the point when you want people to start embracing your brand and their evangelists or even a member of the tribe, you can do T-shirts, wristbands, apps, supplements. I have clients that do beauty products that are women, and they mostly deal with a female audience, and they've done lipstick and beauty products. And I got trainers who do protein powder and gear and exercise equipment. Just information. You don't have to leave it at information. There's a whole product path you can put together. So definitely be aware of that.
Awesome. All right.
And the other thing is too, now in today's market, you don't have to create all these things anymore. Like say, for instance, the fitness trainer, and we're working on the protein powder. She doesn't have to go out and make all this specialized protein powder. There's companies that will make those products for you who are already making them and just slap your label and brand on them. It's called private label rights. So if you think about it, when you go into Food Line, you buy, say, regular Clorox and you got Food Line Clorox or whatever grocery store you guys have in the area. Notice they have products that's named after their store. Well, a lot of times those are private label products that the company that's already making the products will put your name, your brand on them. And you don't have to buy hundreds and thousands anymore. You can buy 10. You can buy 5, and they probably will ship them for you and charge you as they send it, as long as they have the labels made. So don't think you're going to have to invest a lot of money if you want to do other products outside of just the courses and stuff to your fans and your tribe. It's very inexpensive to have products.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. They even got a T-shirt coming. I think you can set it up on your website where they print the T-shirts as you order, just like CreateSpace. CreateSpace prints books as people order them from Amazon.
Yeah, there's a site called Teespring that does that. I don't know about other ones, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Awesome.
Cool.
Something wrong?
Okay. We're gonna find it.
Oh, actually,
Yeah, no problem. So let's recap. You ready?
yeah.
So we talked about finding a niche, finding that your audience, your tribe, the people who have what you want to know, what you want to talk about. You know, we talked about the fact that, you know, just like there were 3 to 4 television stations years ago when we were growing up, now there's thousands, and people, those television stations kind of cater to people of a specific niche. We talked about creating a product. We talked about the 10 by 10 by 10, the Lego effect. The Lego effect is amazing. If you use the Lego effect when you create, you're going to be amazed how much quicker or faster you can actually start creating courses and products, because you can take different pieces from different courses and put them into new courses or give those pieces away. The Lego effect is just an amazing way of creating. Planning your positioning in your product path. Are you going to be low end, middle end, high end? What's the product path? What products are you giving the clients along the path so that they start with one product and then they go along the line to multiple products to hopefully ultimately become an evangelist, which is someone who's going to sell for you, whether you pay them or not, because they like your product and they like you so much. And then we talked briefly about marketing yourself and marketing your products. So Omar, what I basically, of course, why in the end we wanted to give a lot of information, and hopefully, you know, everyone feels like we did that. And do we want to take questions before we go into the product of the course?
I think we should cover that first, get that out of the way, and then we'll get to the Q&A.
Okay. Let's see. Can I turn this?
So you guys, make sure you guys, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box. And for now, go ahead and introduce your.
Okay. So I have a course called Speaker Millionaire Academy. It's about creating products. It's about creating a sustainable speaker business, but also an online business. It talks about how to create your brand, find that niche, build the brand, you know, avoid things like brand confusion. I think that sometimes people want to talk about multiple things, and so they have to choose their brand, how to create that brand lane, how to create products, courses, books, ebooks, PLR, everything that we talked about along the way. How to build a tribe, how to market your brand, making money speaking, and through affiliates and JVs. So the course is going to basically cover all of that. This course I have maybe right now, I normally run about 25 people in the course at a time. And they have niches from all kinds of areas. Like we talked about the gardening, we talked about personal trainers, we talked about there's speakers, there's speaker trainers, there's ghostwriters, there's all kinds. And they all need the same things. They all need to create their brand, create their products, build a business model, build a tribe, market your brand, come up with how they want to speak or how they want to market, and then do affiliates and JVs. So normally I charge $797 for this particular product. But what I did, I basically created a special price for the Infopreneur network or the agency, Omar's people. And that price is $397. And that's kind of a cheap price. And we also will do payments on that, 3 payments of $169. So, I mean, the course has done well. I've had a lot of people very successful. Of course, my goal is to turn you into an evangelist, to make sure that I over-deliver, that I give you exactly what it is that you're looking for, plus some. But I definitely want to open up for questions, Omar, if I can. And I also want to thank you guys for being here today. So I'm having to scroll it up with my fingers because somehow it just stopped working. But yeah, I want to open up and answer questions if I can.
Okay. Awesome. Well, first, thank you so much, Joe. This has been amazing. This has been super valuable. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this who are here live and are watching the replay have gotten a great amount of value from this. So thank you again on that. And thank you again for making this amazing offer for our community, by the way. That's also super generous of you. I want to also sweeten the deal while we're on the topic. Before we open up for questions, I want to offer everyone here watching this, if you if you join this program, I'm also going to give you lifetime access to a program called iCourse, which we haven't launched yet, but it's a platform where you can create your own course, very clean, very simple design, and it shows, you can create modules, create lessons, have downloads, and it's really simple to use and really simple for your users to access and get your information, right? So it's a $497 value for lifetime access, and it's yours as a bonus if you join this program with Joe. All right.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right on. So let's see. I'm gonna let me see. Can you stop the share? I don't know how to do that from my end.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure that out.
It's somewhere. There should be a little toolbar somewhere. But let's see questions. Any questions here? I don't see anything in the chat box. I have a question that I written down as well. So if you have any questions, please put in the chat box. I'm going to, a lot of people dropped off just recently. So anyway, let me check the time. What time is it? Okay. All right. Well, there's one question I have. So with the Lego effect and the 10-10-10 thing, do you recommend that we also that we repurpose these like, let's say I have like one module and one lesson underneath that module. Do you think we should repurpose that into like maybe a email newsletter or like a some other type of platform or something like that, and then sell it or give it away? Or do you think it's better to just keep it all in the course and or sell them individually as products only? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you can repurpose it. I mean, the whole purpose of the Lego effect is so that you have each piece or each part of your course is built as an individual standalone piece. And you can use it anywhere, whether it's an article, as a different video, as a bonus, as a free giveaway. I think that it just makes so much sense to create that way. And you'll find, I think they'll find that by creating that way, they're going to have so many uses for stuff. Because a lot of times it's hard to keep creating content. You have to keep thinking of something new all the time for your marketplace. And if you're using the Lego effect, you're able to take other pieces and kind of bring it in and talk about those individual pieces. And you can repurpose it for articles as well, blog posts, video posts, YouTube posts. It's not going to hurt your sales of the course to put a piece of the course online. Actually, it's going to improve your sales.
Okay. All right. I have another question. So, you mentioned you have a lot of different clients in different industries and teaching different things. And I know you have real estate experience teaching real estate and also teaching this course creation and marketing. So all right, my question is basically, if somebody has a micro niche, and let's just say, for example, it's gardening, and gardening is really popular. So maybe let's just try something even more like narrowed down, like let's just say like gardening roses, all right, in particular. And do you think, I mean, how does that person continue to make more money if they taught, let's just say they have shared all the information possible about roses and gardening roses, and there's no more information to teach, like, and let's just say that person has already sold the information to everyone who's ever wanted to learn about roses or gardening roses, and there's just no more market. There's no more, let's just say, hypothetically, right? How would they continue to scale that business? Like, what do you
That's a great question. So what I would end up doing is I would then start selling seeds. So I would sell seeds for the roses, and I would base that on what roses grow during which season. So maybe you want to talk about, selling yellow roses, red roses, what roses grow in different areas or different climates. So I would be selling the seeds. I would maybe sell flower boxes where they could put the roses, fertilizer, any, other products to actually, so that they actually constantly need roses. I may have a Rose of the Month club where every single month they get a different seed for different color or different type of rose, and they get it and they try to join it, to grow it. Then I would have, for my new content, I would have people who grow the roses to show their roses and talk about what they did or what they did differently. I would start letting the actual audience create the content, because sometimes the audience can create the content for you. Or I would have a contest who can grow the best roses, and things like that. Take pictures of them and show them to the audience in the group. So I think there's always a product path, and there's always a way to expand. You just got to figure out what it is.
Okay.
Your market, most markets always want something new.
Right on.
What about tools, gloves, shears, aprons, hats? Things like that. T-shirts with sayings on it that would appeal to people who grow roses. What about a convention or a boot camp? Where you bring them to a garden and you show them some of the best things hands-on. So there's always something else to put into a product plan.
Right on. Okay. And so it's a similar question. Now, what if somebody is an expert in like a million different things, and they have already created courses on, like, let's say 100 different topics, right? And really, they're just so they're just the opposite of what you taught, the opposite of focus. So it's just everything, and they're already kind of building a brand in different industries. How do they choose which one is their thing, and what would they do next? How do they grow a business with so many different topics?
So what I would do is I would plan on what are going to be my main 3 to focus on at this time, maybe for 6 months to a year. And I would choose those 3 based upon asking people who know me what they feel I represent. So when I go and I talk to people, I say, what do you feel like represents me? And then when they choose some of those 3 things, and you say, okay, well, people identify me as this. And then I would also match that with my market research to make sure there's a market for it, that people want it. And then I will focus on those 3 brand lanes. Now, if those brand lanes are totally separate, you got to market them separate. I don't know if you've ever been to a meeting and somebody says, well, I do Legal Shield, I do Amway, and I do vitamins. Well, those don't go together. You got to talk about one or the other. So, you can't go to a place. I always learned that when you go somewhere networking, you always talk about your highest, best identity. So you got to choose one identity and build that one, then build the other one, and then build the other one, or build them separately.
Right on. It's great advice. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, I don't see any more questions in the chat box, so we're going to wrap it up. Now, those of you watching the recording, the link is below the video to sign up. It's infopreneuragency.com/JW, as in Joe White. All right. So go there and register. Make sure you take advantage of this. Again, we're adding in the bonus for those of you who want to get your own course. You can, use the iCourse app and, have as many courses as you want with that. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks to everyone for watching. And let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Okay. And thank you, Joe, as well. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.